Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Grid Watches podcast, episode number 38, where myself, Rickson, and Corza will discuss the below average Hungarian Grand Prix that happened this weekend. Of course, Hamilton won where he wasn't really meant to win with the Mercedes car compared to the Ferrari, but Rickson, he won once again. Just how do you feel after back-to-back wins for Hamilton?
Yeah, good mate. It's about time he's had a bit of luck. I guess it goes both ways though. Obviously, Seb's due some luck at some point soon as well. But no, I think the race went very, very well for Lewis. Kind of as I would have hoped. You know, Lewis is usually quite good around that circuit, and he proved it again last weekend. But yeah, it went relatively swimmingly for him. There was a few hairy moments. But no, apart from that, decent, mate, decent.
Alex, how did you find the race?
Looking in general terms, Ferrari must be going into this summer break going, how on earth has this happened? Because the last two races, they could have won both of them. Easily could have won both of them. And they've gone in with a massive gap now. So, but in terms of the race, it was, I would say, mediocre. It was like every F1 race that didn't involve a massive crash. Yeah, that didn't involve a massive crash. It was just a bit dull.
I think qualifying was more exciting than the actual race. Qualifying was glued to the screen with the way the rain hit in Q1 and Q2 as well, where it caught a lot of people out. In Q2, especially Ricciardo and Hulkenberg both out in the first two parts of qualifying. But yeah, and I think it was a below average race. But what I want to get to first, of course, is the controversy that happened with regard to Bottas and Vettel, and I want both your opinions on it. Who do you blame more, or do you class it as a racing incident?
Rickson, you take this one first.
I was going to say, Alex, you're going to take this one first. As much as I hate Vettel, and as much as I like Bottas for how he's prided himself on being a second driver, I suppose. When you look at it back, it could swing both ways, but I think it's mostly Bottas's fault, I think, personally. So I didn't watch it live, but I've watched it back a few times and listened to what other people have been saying on social media, and it was just a little bit silly from both of them. But I think if you had to make me pick one, I'd probably pick Bottas as it being his fault. But it could have gone either way. It was, like I said, it was silly for both of them, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, it's a weird one because from different angles you could come up with a different conclusion. But you could say, well, is Bottas definitely going to make that corner at the speed he was going and whatever? And then you could say, well, Vettel's then suddenly in Bottas's line. So there was the way it went, the way both of them drove into that corner, it was always going to end up in a collision. So I'd say racing incident, but Bottas potentially more at fault. I think the stewards got it right. I don't think you can say it's one or the other for definite.
Yeah, they definitely got it right. I agree with you massively on that one.
People agreeing on the Grid Watches podcast. What is good? Why is everyone so?
Especially me as well.
Hey,
especially Rickson.
I was waiting for a big argument to happen, and then we just went, "Yeah, we both agree." Yeah.
It will come at some point, mate.
Yeah, and then I think we all agree with the Bottas Ricciardo incident. With Bottas, well, didn't break. Went straight.
He did a Rosberg. Just went straight in a corner.
I think at that point, though, he was probably angry with how his race had just disappeared away from him.
Integrated, didn't it, before?
Yeah, and I think that would make anybody pissed off. But I think there's a time and place to act or drive more like the way Bottas did, just for the duration of the end of that race. It was just very. You were just kind of going, oh, every time they got close, and every time he got close to a car, whether it was someone in front of him or like a back marker, he just looked like he was very pressured and felt like he had to make up for the fact that he made a hash of it with Seb. But Danny had a really good race, and fighting with him that much could have cost him more. But you don't really know, do you? Anything could have happened, but that's the first time from what I can think back to, that's the first time that Bottas has really just lost his head, like in the fashion that he did last weekend.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think back to an incident with Bottas, but I can't think of anything going back. And Rickson, you said you didn't watch it live, but Cause, did you watch the race live?
No, but I have watched the race back.
Okay, no, Sky was great because when what Sky did, they talk to Christian Horner and the.
Oh no, I heard this. I did hear this.
And I don't know, Rickon, if you saw it. There were Crofty and Brundle were talking to.
Oh, I'll tell you what, mate. I did hear this. This was fucking brilliant.
And so Christian Horner, for those who haven't seen it on Sky, Christian Horner, Crofty gave Christian Horner the commentator's mic, and he said, "Oh, you commentate as Ricciardo goes onto the straight now because you're going to overtake Bottas." He starts talking. Yeah, well, he's in the slipstream now. He's going to go around the outside. Bang! Straight into him while he's commentating. And it was just so funny because he just went completely silent. Did he swear? Because I didn't think he swore.
No, I think he like muted himself and then was like,
yeah,
yep.
probably. Yeah. there was a button that he just did
that. But it was it's just what the chances of something like that happening with having the team principal of your on the mic while a crash happens. So that was great fun, and of course. With Red Bull as well, as we're on the topic of Red Bull, Max Verstappen's comments when he retired, and also Christian Horner's comments, how Christian Horner, and I quote, he said, multi-million-pound product, but they are so they're paying for a multi-million-pound product, but the engines are subpar, and I think that Red Bull need to get that Honda engine as quickly as possible. Now I know they've got to wait till 2019, but those engines just aren't good enough for Red Bull these days.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I see that is he's been stuck with Renault for ages, and they've pretty much been going nowhere. You know, they haven't got any closer. Really, in my opinion, they haven't got any closer in the last few years to the Merc and the and the cars who are just a bit quicker than them. And I'm not saying they're slow, but they've been that car that's not quite top and not quite mid pack. It's just in like the boundary. You know what I mean? Just in like the top third. And they're not going anywhere. And it's about time he publicly spoke out about it, because there's only so much you can hold back, and there's only so many times you can like skirt around the problem without actually saying it. And I think it's good for the team, although it makes him look a bit shit. It's really good for the team because they're all in the same boat, and they're all in it, as one team, as you should be. I think any other team leader wouldn't have said anything. I think like maybe Toto Wolff might have said something, but it wouldn't have been as blunt as that. And you could tell he was fully pissed off with, how the last few races have gone for him.
You've got to think though, if Red Bull had a Ferrari or Mercedes engine in there, surely those 6-7 tenths they're behind every race would put them right
sick
with them.
Yeah, if they had a Merc engine,
it's that 6-7 tenths that's costing them, isn't it? And he knows it. If
they had a Merc engine, mate, they'd be winning. They'd still be winning championships, mate. That Red Bull is incredible. That car, the way it's built, is silly, but it's just obviously you pay loads of money to have a really well built car, but then you have to take the deficit on the engine, which is how it works.
The engine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's no sense. But the thing that they've gone to Honda is probably the only reason why Christian Horner spoke out now, because he's just getting to the point where, well, why the hell am I reining it in when Renault is still giving us shit engines?
Yeah,
we're moving on anyway. So what's the point? You got to wonder now how McLaren are feeling that they've just moved to Renault engines, and Red Bull can't wait to get from Renault to Honda.
I was just about to say, like Toro Rosso, the start of the season, everybody was like, they've got Honda engines, they're going to be shit, and actually, they haven't been that bad. Really, if you think about it, they've been pretty decent. And I think that now that Red Bull have obviously seen that Honda are starting to get a somewhat decent engine together, and Renault on 2 occasions now are fucking 2 teams simultaneously. I think they've realised now that Honda's the way to go, and Christian Horner especially knows that they've got to get it done like as soon as possible, just so they can get back in the championship race.
Yeah, just being able to finish races is
Yeah,
going to
just
give
even
them
that-
more of an
even
advantage
that
that they
is
do now.
fucking crossing the line. That's all they need to do. They can't even do.
Definitely. And you can guarantee with the new aero regs that are coming in next year that Red Bull's going to be absolutely incredible
Silly.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see where they are next year. Definitely.
Yeah, hopefully they get back in the game as being a Red Bull fan. Well, Sembo who's not here, unfortunately.
You fucking depressed twat. Mercedes for life. # blessed.
I don't, what do I say to that? You know, it's just.
The
You
fit, mate,
just
you
got to
can't.
move on. You can't. You
Just,
can't.
yeah, just can't. Just ignore him. Just move on.
That's just like the ultimate. Just you can't say anything.
Conversation finisher, isn't it?
Exactly. I've just won every argument that we're ever going to have forever.
Well,
After
because of that one statement.
Exactly, mate. You know it as well.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
coming back.
Of course, this weekend as well, Force India have got into all their sort of problems, almost getting a winding up order. And I'm just reading up on it now, and they're in £159 million worth of debt.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What? I didn't
and-
even know the number was that high.
Yeah, I
Shit.
just literally just looked now, and from what I gather, the Perez has sued them, so then they don't get wound up, so then they can still actually stay afloat. So then they're going into administration, so someone else can buy them. So I guess everyone was dicking on Perez, saying, "Oh, he's suing them with their team," but it makes sense that he is doing that. The team asked him to do it. So, but what Force India didn't do anything this weekend. They were miles off. Completely. I just want your thoughts on it, and where do we think that team's going to go? And especially as well, of course, they asked to have their bonus early this season because of the situation they're in. But McLaren, Renault, and Williams said no regarding to it. I understand why they said no, but I want to get your thoughts on everything regarding the Force India topic.
It started off as a bit of a weird thing because you heard they went into administration, then you heard, oh, well, Perez has then sued them to put them into administration. And you go, well, that's a bit of a dick move because they sue your team, they're in administration, they're fucked. And then you read more into it and then you hear more about it and you go, no, Sergio Perez has used his backing to then get them into administration, keep them running as a team, keep everyone getting paid, and protect the team and give them time, which surely is exactly what Force India need right now when they're in so much debt and in such a bad place. In terms of track for Force India, this was the worst track for them to come to after being in this position because this track suits Force India in absolutely no way, shape, or form. So it pretty much was just a week where it can only get better. If they can, from what I've heard, there is people interested in buying Force India. I can see that if something doesn't come to fruition very soon, then I can see Mercedes doing something and making them some sort of like junior team or some sort of like development team or something like that.
They sort of are now, though.
They sort of are now. So if Mercedes can then put money into that and then create something out of that, which still makes their money back and whatever, then I can see them doing it. But from what I've heard, there's other buyers coming in. So I think Force India will be okay, but it's not a great position to be in because you don't hear that they're in, what was it, £149 million worth of debt, did you say?
59.
Yeah, £159 million worth of debt. And no one had any idea about this until they went into administration because of Sergio Perez.
Yeah, and the whole Lawrence Stroll trying to buy the team as well, who is one of the potential buyers. So we'll talk about that the potential driver placement. We'll do a whole podcast on that as well.
I mean, just quickly on that guy has got a fucking master plan to make sure Lance can stay in a fucking. That guy is shit.
He's going in Force India.
It's like do you know when you're 15, 16, you're not quite working yet, and you go and like your dad has like a business or your mum has a business, and then you go and do like 2 weeks work placement there. That's basically what he's done. He's basically brought out Force India so his son can do like a 2-week placement. Like what the fuck? It doesn't work like that. Like imagine like then fucking Force India go down as well, and then he buys like the next team, and then the next team, and he just buys every single team. Yeah. And he's got Stroll and all the Stroll's clones and every single team. Changes the name to Stroll 1 rather than F1, and it's just Stroll everywhere. The marshals, all of the drivers, everybody on telly is just Lance Stroll take over the world.
Can you imagine random people do that? Like Rixon's dad buys an F1 team, and you just see Jack Rixon just strolling around on the track.
Bro.
That would be jokes.
Just be like, what?
No, okay, I'd be the best driver I've ever seen. Have you seen me in my fucking Corsa?
Sorry,
Tazzing about.
does anyone remember the simulator bit and Goodwood? Because I remember that.
I didn't come
I
last.
came.
didn't come
Yeah,
last.
but oh wait,
Did
no,
anyone
Alex came
remember
last,
time?
didn't you? You came last, Alex, by like 14
did.
seconds.
It wasn't 14, but it was a good 12.
You're shit, Alex.
Rixon, how did go-kart go for you?
It's good, mate. It's actually not that bad, considering it's my second ever time. Didn't go that bad, I don't think. I think I did all right.
That will be out on Friday. So.
Or will it?
Plug.
Oh, well.
Plug.
It will.
Right, boys. Strap in for that one.
It's
I
going to
bet-
be.
I bet you won't
It will be a
mention
good
one
one.
of
It
the
will be a
sessions.
good one. Pardon?
Bet you won't mention that I won one of the sessions.
No. Of course I will.
No,
Of course I will.
not.
The fact you even beat me in a session annoyed me to hell.
I
You
was
can
so
tell
pissed off.
he was so pissed off.
That made you forget Goodwood, forget the nights out. That one lap is the greatest thing I think I've ever done.
That face. He's
Yeah.
just that was the best moment.
That face when you walked in and just went, "Oh yeah, he's beat you." And then what?
It's that, and then I walk away, and it's black and white, and this "Hello Darkness, my old friend" comes on. So that's how I felt after coming second. It was only by like a tenth, but it was still really,
It was
really
something.
annoying.
That honestly made my weekend. I hate to say that was.
That's really sad.
I love that so much.
Yeah, but anyway, that will be out on Friday, hopefully. With what we're trying to do with that video, but I'm trying to think what else we talked about. Force India, we've talked about the race itself. Sort of outside of the racing scene, regarding the F1 community, it's striked again.
Here we go,
with
boys.
some
It's prime time, Rixon.
the last time we talked about it was of course clans and teams, regarding is it a clan, is it a team, really, that sort of thing. But this time we've got some racism coming into play, which is not nice at all, regarding Hamilton, and there was a page set up that I saw, and these are not my words.
I'm pretty sure we all saw it.
It's the page Hamilton is a monkey. I will put these screenshots on screen. I won't read them out.
Maybe do some censoring.
I won't read it. I'll put it on screen, but I will not read it out. But some very bad words, and there was someone else as well. Allegedly got hacked. I don't know, but I mean, it just is it children again? What is it this time?
See, it's the thing that gets me about that is, like, let's say for example it was like a 13, 14-year-old. Where do you pick up these words? Who the fuck tells you what all these racist words mean? Like, I'm obviously I'm only 20, so I'm not that old. But even when I was like 13, 14, I had no idea what any of the words that were being said meant. Like no idea, and hardly anybody saw them in the grand scheme of things. Hardly anybody saw them. But the fact that there's a lot of children in, and we spoke about it before. I know that I'm totally against having fucking kids in the F1 Twitter or all of that. We've mentioned it before, so I'm not going to go on about it. But I think to use words like that, it's just ridiculous, because somebody else is going to see that who is younger, and they're not going to know what it means. Do a quick Google search, find out what it means, and then they're just going to start using it openly because they think it's fine because somebody else has used it, and it shouldn't work like that. And I think you can have all of the fun and games you want, like we do, saying all this shit we say very openly on Twitter, but there's a time and a place to push it to the next level, and just be downright just horrible and fucking gross. Like, it's just such a nasty word to say. Like, that's coming from me, because I say a lot of racist shit, like, and a lot of bad shit, but I'd never openly put it out on Twitter for people to see, because if you're potentially going for a job, like you are, let's say, and you land the job, and then most big businesses now will do like a social media background check.
They do,
and if you think they won't find you just because you've got a different name, mate, they will. They'll find you. It's not hard. It's really not hard. And they're just setting themselves up to just ruin it, really. And it's like that saying that like your parents always say, it's once you tweet something or once you post something, it's out there forever. Even if you think you can like take it down, it's still saved there somewhere. And yeah, it's just bad, mate. Like kids are gonna pick up this shit language and they're gonna just start openly saying it now. And there's just absolutely no need at all. No need.
Yeah, I can't really add much more to that, to be fair. I think you pretty much summed it up.
But I don't get why
Yeah.
Twitter itself hasn't got more of a filter available.
Well, because there's millions and millions and millions of people on Twitter. One guy with 20 followers saying some racist shit about an F1 driver. And Twitter aren't going to track that. They can't delete every single tweet that somebody's said the M word or they've been racist or whatever. No way is there going to be a guy like in the whole world you can create. It's like remove all tweets because it doesn't work like that. You could just ban accounts, but because they're fresh accounts, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
People have already seen them all. People have screenshotted them. People have got them. It's similar. I don't think we ever mentioned the limitless stuff when somebody found his old account, stuff like that.
Oh,
it's
of
like
course, yeah.
once that's out there, you can't hide it. And he said
Can't take that back now.
He said some fucked up shit, and he tried his hardest to back his case, and it just didn't work. Like me and Ash just immediately got to the bottom of it, and we're like, well, it's obviously you, mate. You can't hide it. Just fucking openly come out and say it's you. It's just similar to that, but obviously being racist is a lot worse than saying that you want your cock sucked or some shit like that. You know, so that's my take on it. But I think that it was just silly. There was literally no need at all.
It just came out of nowhere. It wasn't.
It was
anything that happened.
It was definitely two guys that sent who talked to each other regularly. It's like, do you want to just tweet some racist shit and see what happens for a laugh?
But the worst thing is they think it's funny though, and that's really
the
wrong.
The thing that got me about it is like people took the bait. That's all it is. Like I'm quite good at baiting people out. Like but everybody bit. Every single person was like, "Oh my god, can't say that." And this bloke who wrote the tweet was like, "Brilliant! Everybody, that's sick now. Everybody loves it. Well, not loves it, but you know,
everyone's commenting. It's now going around.
Yeah,
it's
not good. It's not good. And
it's got to be. I know you said earlier. Oh, let's say it's a kid. It's almost definitely a kid. No adult. Sure.
No, I don't know about that one, mate. I do think it's
there's a lot of immature people out there, even as adults.
Yeah,
even Rickson, I would say he's pretty immature.
And the thing is, I am, but I never take it that far. You know.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't even think about writing that, let alone doing it.
I'm not silly, mate. Like I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
That's why I think it's got to be someone that's like 13 who doesn't really know what it is and has just written it.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. Well. Anyway, we'll move on to something. Well, equally as negative. F1 2018 got a new trailer today.
Fucking hell! Get me a bullet right now. Put my brain. Get this shit over with.
So. From what I looked at, I watched a trailer. I thought, okay, they've added some fancy words here, some new graphics, and the game doesn't look much different. It's just cars with halos on it. They brought media back, which I didn't like in the first place. And if anything,
you didn't like it in the first place. No.
I thought that was the best bit.
Yes,
I'm gonna be a dick anyway when it comes to play.
That's the whole engagement bit. Well, yeah, but you're a dick anyway, so it doesn't matter. No, that's a whole part of the fun and engagement, like off the track and stuff. I enjoyed that.
I think it's definitely the right move for them, 100%. But also, they've got to be. They've just got to fix multiplayer. That's what most people want, and I've said it countless times before. They make all their money off the single player aspect of it, and they will forever because there is a lot of people. Like all we know is people who bitch about it on social media because that's what we're deep into. But on the grand scheme of things, it's the same with any game. There's a market out there outside of what we know of Twitter who love career mode and love like the R&D and love all the media. So they've done it because people will buy it for that reason. And to be honest, I can bang out one season and love it, and then the second season's dead. So I'm hoping that all this new shit they've put in can get me to play it for a few more seasons. Because back in the day, 2012, I did every season. Like
2013,
I did every season because the game was really good, and I think if they can just replicate so the game's good and fun again, I think that will get it. But obviously they've got the fucking esports now, and I think that the fact that they've only mentioned the multiplayer ranking system and like the clean driving system.
That's a good idea, to be fair, because
nobody plays sprint mode.
Well, no, because the thing is to get people to play online more often is you don't want people, especially like us, is if we go, we want to be online, we don't want to be taken out every single time we jump on.
Yeah, but if we want to do that, we just host a lobby and just people join. You know,
that's true.
Then you can kick people if they're being a twat, or you can just end the race, or and I think sprint mode. I haven't done a sprint mode race for ages because it's just shit. And I think even with the clean driving thing, because of the way the game's hosted for the online races and the sprint aspect of it, I think it's never going to be fixable if like they have to host it on servers, because hosting it on peer-to-peer connection is just never going to work. And it's the same with COD as well. Like even Lee Mathers said the fact that because you're moving so quickly and you're so close together in such a small space, lag is going to happen, which I get. I hate the guy with a passion because he's so smug. But that's the only thing he's really said that makes sense. And with COD, obviously, COD's peer-to-peer as well. I'm using COD because it's like the biggest game franchise.
I thought it was server-based.
I'm pretty sure it's peer-to-peer, mate.
It uses servers to help support it, but it's mainly peer-to-peer.
Because somebody hosts the lobby, don't they? That's the thing. Somebody hosts the lobby, so
But I think it uses servers to help back it up, which is what I was saying about doing with 2018. Is to use some servers just to help with that. But we obviously don't. It's all right for us to say, but we don't know what Codemasters can do with their budget and with.
Well, we don't know anything. We know because they haven't said anything. We don't know anything about.
No, that's true. If they came out and said we can't do this because we don't have enough money,
I can guarantee you they don't have the funds to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And if they came out and said that, you'd be like,
no, but they would never say it. You don't say that.
No, I know. It'd be great if they did.
It's as simple as that.
They make games like Micro Machines and Onrush. And they're just wank games. They're just
Onrush, mate. That was the worst game I think I've ever.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought you were going to say it was the best game.
I was waiting for him to just go. No,
it was so disappointing. Like exactly. I didn't even. I played the beta and was like, I did about 2 little races, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, save their money and put more investment in it. That's what I would do personally. But again, I don't run a games company. But yeah, the trailer it looked all right, and I mean, there's some nice features. I think the one feature I did really like is the fact that Ferrari could be at the back of the grid in the next season if they don't get their R&D right. I think that was one thing I quite liked.
Yeah, that seems proper good. It's like the fact that you always have to keep some points spare just in case some shit happens.
Yeah,
then you have to use them. That's and I think as well I'm hoping that they put in a shortened practice program. Because I would
just to get his R&Ds quicker.
Well, no, it's not even that. Like, I would do the practice session. Be like, I've done like 12 laps now. I don't really want to do the race and qualifying. It's just boring. Like they're not boring, but when they were first released, they were sick. But then by the end of my first season in 2017, I was like, I don't care. I started skipping them. I was like, I can't be bothered.
And it's because the thing is, it's because the R&D is so big. You do all these practice programs, and then you get a couple of things, and you go, I've done nothing. Because it's so big, you haven't done much towards the R&D tree.
I can totally. There's got to be an option like there is with the race length where you can just flick it down and have like short R&D where you only get 3 things to do. It's like tyre, fuel, and like track and whatever the first one is where you have to drive around through the gates. Can't remember what it's called, but those like just something like that's short and will take you 10 minutes, and then you can focus on doing like a % race because I hate doing 24% races because nothing happened. But after practice, you can't do strategy or anything, can you? If I've done practice, qualifying, and the race, I feel like I've already done 50%. I don't, and I don't have the patience to do 100% races, and I'm guessing most people don't. But I'd love to do one at some point. But it's just the R&D just literally takes a piss. It's a sick idea, best thing they've added to career mode for a long time. But it just gets dull, man. I think most people will be in my boat on that. it's just dull, mate. Dull.
Yeah, no, I think the one thing that did annoy me in the trailer is the fact that they talked about rivals and picking your enemy and the rest of that stuff, and they went, well, they've had that in the last game and the game before. Why are you bringing
Not
back?
being able to pick your rivals.
Pardon?
Not being able to pick your rivals, you weren't able to pick.
Oh, you wouldn't. Well,
automatically
anyway,
assigned.
what I
Well,
mean
no,
is,
back in 20.
Yeah, no, I meant
Well,
like the past couple, like.
I think it was
6,
2012. You could pick like anyone you wanted from who was in like a certain bracket around you,
Yeah.
and then
Like
you would, if you
4,
beat them,
probably.
something like that. If you beat them, you would get an offer from the team the next season.
what I mean
I
is,
think it worked like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just,
Well, we got a long way towards it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a bit samey. That's all. I wanted someone else, but
No, yeah, no, I get it, but I think they're doing something to make me want to play career mode more.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
as long as I can do more than one season, I enjoy it. Like that's enough.
Yeah. If by the time 2019 comes out and you've done 2 seasons, then we could say it's a success.
You sound like me, mate. Come on.
I really struggle with that one. It's a success. Oh, bloody hell. But yeah, I would say that that would be it succeeding. It's Rickson doing 2 seasons.
Yeah, I will
Mate,
say.
there's the challenge.
There's
Can
the
Rickson do 2 seasons? The
Yeah.
answer's no. I can already tell you I can't do 2 seasons.
Oh, we'll see. We've got 24 days to go. 24th of August or 25th.
24th.
Yeah, Spa weekend, isn't it?
Basically, quite a long while, yeah.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
People are hyping it up too much as well. I think people are hoping it's going to be amazing, and lads, calm down. It's not going to be that good. Relax. Like,
well, YouTubers are on episode 6 of the career modes already, apparently, from what I gather.
oh, that's so sad.
Oh, that's one thing that annoyed me. The fact that the YouTubers in the damn game, and Ben, I don't know, he looks like something out of a horror movie.
Mate, he looks. I'll tell you, he looks like a paedophile. He straight up looks like he's going to take you over and penis. Mate, he's bold. He looks about 65. His missus looks like a frog. Like, it's just his life's going downhill. And I'm straight up feel sorry
I
for
will
the
say
lad.
though, I think his missus is pretty pain.
No.
Mate, you've got such a weird taste in girls. Like, oh,
about 12.
bro, you've really got some serious problems. Like, have you seen, mate? When she smiles, she looks like that geezer from the Goonies. What's his name?
No, I can't see
I
him.
only know his name.
I don't know his name, but I know who you mean.
It does look like she's got a permanent Snapchat filter on to make her mouth wider.
It's like it's almost like she's gurning. Like when she's
Just a
smiling,
crack.
she's like
Probably
it's
is.
almost like fake teeth. She's taking fucking hell. But to be fair,
you'd notice Ben's character out in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? Bloody hell.
But then to be fair, you have to be pretty ugly to date Ben, because that guy, fuck me,
Jesus.
he's
the
got.
hell
I don't know what's wrong with that fella, man. He's got. And his parents must be fuck me.
The only
Must
the
be
only
ogres.
character that I like that the YouTubers are in it is Scott, because he's at the back of the carriage
yes.
doing nothing, and he has like,
I think they've made it surely, so then he's just that one person. Obviously, like Ben does like media and is always in there because that's sort of like what he's like is always in there, and same with Arab.
No, you
and
do
Scott's
realise
just like in the background.
it is
Just
just
like
randomised.
permanently.
Like you will see them everywhere. Like they're just random like stock photos.
I think it was a
You
trailer.
can drive as Brendan Lee. That's the mad thing. You can drive as Brendan Lee. You can have Brendan Lee's. I was going to say fat face cam, but it's not anymore. You can have his face cam.
Can he see over the
Which is
steering
sick.
wheel?
What?
Can he see over the steering wheel?
No, mate. He has like a booster seat.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's like one of those car seats that you put like the toddlers in, and he's sat in one of them backwards and as well. So if he has a crash, he doesn't go flying. Oh, fuck me.
I wonder if they'll use any of the YouTuber names in the classic cars because they've got to come up with random names for classic cars. So I don't know if they'll use them.
Can you imagine you just drive around and just Rickson appears behind you and a classic car and just punches your man. Imagine the scene.
Just like in go-karting.
To be fair,
What, behind?
I do think the last place you would see me is in a Cody's. That's some of the shit I've said. We'll write that one off the cards now, boys.
You can
Yeah,
be the
just
guy.
hoping they ignore the Twitch chat.
You can
I'm banned, so they can't. I can't say anything in the Twitch chat.
Now, do you know when you were in the pits in qualifying or practice, and you had the guy on the tannoy going, Billy Monger, okay, Billy Whiz, he's just lost his legs, but he's still back in the car already.
Fucking hell! Why'd you go straight to that one?
Why? Of all the people?
Because that's all he says. That's the only thing I've ever heard him say.
He definitely doesn't say Billy Whiz, he's lost his legs, but he's still in the car.
Can you imagine if he did though, mate? That'd be.
It does say Billy Monger, aka Billy Whiz. He definitely says that. Maybe not the leg
might
bit.
do, and that's fair enough. But he definitely doesn't say, although he's lost his legs in the car, he still jumps in.
And he's fucking quick, mate. I'll tell you that. Fucking.
Yeah, he is. We saw him live.
We did see him live. And we did.
We did.
Yeah.
It's pretty mental.
He's quite short without his crutches.
Wow.
Gotta love a bit of.
Got him. No. Anyway, we're done with that thing. To finish off, driver back to the race.
Disgraceful. That's fucking.
I know it's awful. Isn't it? Back to
fucking hell, mate.
driver of the day and dick of the day for the Hungarian.
If dick of the day, you mate. After that comment, fuck me.
Oh come on, you said worse.
I have said worse. I have. I'm allowed to say worse because it's on me.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
is true.
Alex, who is your driver and dick of the day?
Oh, I really wish he didn't come to me first. Driver of the day is Marcus Ericsson for getting some points.
Okay.
First one that came to my head. Dick of the day.
Oh, just flagged there, boy. Sorry.
Lovely.
Smell it down here.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, what's that green smoke coming over down to Portsmouth? Oh, what's going on?
Guy
Smells like a gooch after walking around Goodwood for the whole day. Fucking
Oh,
that's gross.
That
Alright, Dick of the Day is the person that was on the rear left of Raikkonen's car when he was doing the tyre change.
That's very precise.
Yeah, for just doing a generally shit job.
Is he the one with the broken leg?
No.
Oh.
No, I was going to say it's Billy Whiz.
Oh,
Mate, he can't break his leg. He's got no legs.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. We're all going
I'll tell you what, he needs to be the Terminator 2.0, man.
Can I just say, do you reckon he's used the fact that he can choose legs to
You like that? Thank God for that.
I knew that where that was going. I was like, no.
I'm so glad you like that. Because I didn't hear how that finished.
It was something related to women, I guess.
No, it was, well, not really. I was just going to say, does he use his opportunity to, choose his legs to make himself taller?
What, like stilts? Rather than his real legs?
Yeah. Why would you pick legs that are like 3 foot tall when you can pick them when they're 4 foot tall?
Well, it's still a lot harder to walk if you've got another feet added to you. Plus, how weird would your body look? You'd have massive legs and a tiny body. That just looks so strange. Can you imagine? You look a bit. You would look like Cal. Tiny body, massive legs.
Cal reminds me. Oh, what was his name? Do you know Lazy Town? The evil guy in Lazy Town.
Oh,
Cal is, but with
Robbie Rotten.
Yeah. Lanky as hell.
My G.
Right, Rickson, who is your driver and dick of the day?
Driver of the day, Louis. Dick of the day, Bottas. There you go. Nice and easy for you.
Nice and easy. I'm gonna go with Pierre Gasly for my driver of the day. Finished
Not
sixth.
Hartley. Shock.
Hartley, he finished up to the point, so he's not going to get in my driver of the day. He lost 3 positions off the start.
Mate.
Yeah, not so good.
And that's your goat? Fuck me, son.
It's more my sheep.
Oh, okay. No, fair.
And my dick of the day would... I don't know. I've got no idea. No, Ferrari fans on Facebook comments. They're my dicks of the day.
Ferrari fans on Facebook.
Yeah.
Ferrari fans in general, mate.
And that, yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, it's like all type on the keyboard. Oh, whoever, if you win in Hungary, you don't win the championship. 2004. I was like, oh, well, what are the chances of that happening? You know, to the fact that since 2004, if you don't win the Hungarian Grand Prix, you don't win the championship. It's just like, shut up. I don't care. Just stop moaning.
Well,
it's just
half, it's technically still a race in the first half of the season, so
I know.
Nobody won the drivers' championship in the first half of the season.
Just salty Vettel.
I'll tell you who the worst Ferrari fan is. Have you seen that? What's that user called? It's like Vettel Leclerc. Name's like Tammy or some shit like that. You seen her on Twitter?
I might have seen her pop up sometimes.
She's fucking mate. I think she's a her. She's a fucking. Oh my god. she's the worst human. Literally.
The worst.
She just doesn't shut, mate.
I think she's a her.
I don't know. No, but you don't know what these weird fucking 13-year-old kids are like. Could be like a lad who's just like. Let's just be a
hair like
yeah. Just greasy. Oh god, no thanks. Stay as far away from that shit as possible. Vile.
Yeah. Well. To finish off.
I've ever seen.
Hi, Gelson. To finally finish off, we'll talk about the F1 fantasy.
Can we not?
Yeah, because.
Yeah, can we not? I'm not in it anymore. I gave it a lot.
Well, funny enough, Rickson, I'm actually winning still. I've been leading for the last 3 weeks.
I am not giving you my money. I'm not going to do it.
I'm winning. We've got Burnout in second, and Ted Pet Racing third. Faff Racing, which is Hayden in fourth, and Blue Fags Race. If you're watching, please tell us what your the Twitter handles are, because I've got no idea who anybody of these people. I know some of them, but not all of them.
What penetration was Rickson?
Well, I know that, Alex. I don't know who Ted Pet Racing is.
What a name! I completely forgot about that one. My friend. Penetration. Oh, that's brilliant. I am fucking funny, man.
It works because you're at the bottom as well.
Exactly, mate. And I'm going to penetrate my way through it somehow.
Penetrating the bottom. Anyway.
Causa, you're down in 22nd.
What happened to you, Alex? You were doing all right.
Austria, wasn't it? Austria, you went downhill.
At one point. I was pushing second, and downhill was one word.
Mate, you were second at one point. Fucking hell. Have you ever been trying? Shit.
And then Ken is in 20th. So
flying the flag for the hosts. Fair play.
Yeah. So they're doing really well. Yeah.
Very contrasting results so far.
Yeah. Me to sort of share.
That's right. No one wins it in the first half of the season, mate.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to check us out all on Twitter. It is down below. Don't forget to check out.
What was that?
Do it again. What the fuck was that? You sound like me trying to outro.
Come on, Sunshine. You meant to be a commentator here. Fucking get it done.
I sound like one of the fucking Teletubbies.
I don't know what Teletubbies you watched in Wales.
Mate, yeah, that's a different Teletubbies to what I ever watched. Stutter Tubbies or whatever.
I think it's more retarded Teletubbies.
Hey, just because we can't speak properly doesn't mean that we're retarded. Please. Anyway, outro. Do it properly. You nonce.
You nonce.
And cut. There you go. Great podcast, guys.
Right. Thank you very much. I can't do it.
God dang it.
I can't do it right.
Do you want me to do it for you? Do you want me to outro?
Thank you so much. Can I do it in a blindsman voice?
What?
What?
Have you ever spoken to someone who's deaf?
I thought they were blind just a minute ago.
You just said blindman's voice. I was like, mate, he speaks normally. I don't know what blind people you've been speaking to. It's like a rare breed of blind.
Honestly.
They just
just because they're, blind doesn't mean they can't speak.
He loves that one. Fucking hell, it's what he done to. Shit. You've actually ruined him. Like, he's never going to be able to outro a video.
Oh dear.
That's game over, boys. Call it off. The podcast is done forever. We're never having another podcast.
Right. Okay. Oh, please compose yourself.
No pressure.
No. Okay. So I think that rounds off for today's podcast, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to check us out all on Twitter. It is down below in the description. Don't forget to check out the official Grid Watchers podcast as well on Twitter, iTunes, Podomatic, and of course YouTube. Thank you, Rickson, of course, for joining me, and we'll see you next week for a driver 2019 driver a 2019 driver prediction podcast. Potentially we'll have to wait and see. But
Oh shit, is that what's going on in the 3 weeks? I had no idea. Alright, fine. Yeah, bye. See you then.